Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to the very special 200th episode of Simon Tells Tales. We have hit episode 200, guys. And I'm really excited that we've got to episode 200. Tonight, I'm going to be reading to you from one of my poems, my epic poem that I've been working on, which I should admit now, I gave you guys the wrong name for it in episode 1, and I've kept referring to it by the wrong name. Can I actually change this back to the right name now? Would you guys mind if I went back to the right name? It's not the Cats of Hashima Island, it's actually called Fogroll's Island, but it's set on Hashima Island. We are the Cats of Hashima Island, being its first opening line. It's actually called Fogroll's Island, and now that we've got the website sorted, it's time to bring back its proper name. So, very excited to be sharing that with you this evening. Hello Jackson, hello Black Rabbit, hello Susan, hello Jenny, hello Rosella, hello Queen, hello Kathy and Susan. Welcome everyone. Hello Stella. Come in, Stella. Welcome. Oh, hiccup. Hello Edward, hello Susie. Thank you for joining me. For those of you who are new, I will of course give you a recap of where we are up to in the story so far before we go and launch into tonight's part of the poem. Hi Stella, how are you? I hope you're very, very well. Welcome to episode 200 of Simon Tells Tales. I was hoping, by the way, to launch the website tonight, guys, and was very excited about that, but as fate would have it, Bluehost, which is what I'm using to host the website, is down at the moment, which is a bit of a pain. So the website will launch once Bluehost have fixed their hosting issues, as I don't want to send you guys through to a broken website. So once Bluehost have sorted their server issues, then I'll launch, but still mega excited for tonight. As you can see by the state of my hair, I only get big hair when I'm excited. Which is every night, but especially excited tonight. So welcome everyone. Aha! I like what you did there, Jackson. Boo host. Oh, I can rib them for that on Twitter later. But no, thank you. Actually, it's thanks to you guys. Hello, Jen. Hello, come in, Jen. 200th episode party, totally. There is only one reason. There is only one reason why we have reached episode 200, and that's because you guys come to listen to the show and enjoy the show and encourage me with the show to keep the show going. It is totally thanks to you guys that we have hit episode 200. So I am very excited to be here at episode 200 with all of you. And yes, Sarah, web hosting can be a pain in the backside. Usually it's good. It's just very hard. Yes, totally 200. And so, because it's too cold outside, Roger is not going off naked into the woods as he had originally planned. He's here instead in the warm, listening to me. I hope you're clothed, Roger, for watching. You don't have to be clothed to watch the show, obviously. It's Jackson as well. Jackson's birthday. Happy birthday, Jackson. Well, excellent. I'm excited about that because there's a certain song which is now out of copyright. And totally, God is great, beer is good, people are crazy. I think that sums up life pretty well, Avery. So, because we are very strict with how we deal with birthdays on this show, everybody, on the count of 3, wherever you are in the world, join me, because we're going to sing Jackson happy birthday. Okay? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to Jackson. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jackson. Happy birthday to you. Yeah! Well done, guys. Thank you so much for joining in there. Happy birthday, Jackson. Happy birthday. And so welcome then, Jackson, to this 200th episode of Simon Tells Tales. Tonight we're reading from my poem, my epic poem that I'm working on, which is called Fogroll's Island. as some of you might know, I'm very passionate about my epic poems. Epic poems and sonnets, that's where I live. Between those two extremes, everything in between is nice, but nothing gets me excited like an epic poem does. And so I wanted to write an epic poem about a place called Hashima Island, which, for those of you who don't know, Hashima Island, which is also known as Gunkanjima. Excellent. I'm glad you are passionate about my poems as well. Thank you, Avery. Hello, Danny, come in. So Hashima Island, also known as Gunkanjima, is just off the coast of Nagasaki. And in 1890, the Mitsubishi Corporation bought it because there was coal in the seabed beneath the island, and they turned it into a coal mine. At that point in time, it became the most densely populated place on the planet. 5,200 people were actually gone and crammed into an island that was 480 metres long, 160 metres wide. It was tiny! They had 50 concrete tower blocks to house the people there. It was massive. And then 1974 rolls along, so the island's been there for 84 years at this point in time. People have been born there, they have died there, they've gone to school there, they've gotten married there, and coal isn't profitable anymore. And so Mitsubishi pulls out. Mitsubishi pulls out, and they pull those 5,200 people back off the island to mainland Japan. But they don't take everyone off the island. You see, the island, because they had ships going over there, did have an issue with mice and rats. And so the humans brought along cats to the island. They are, and I have them on the website when ready to go. And I'd love to go visit it one day. But they left cats behind on the island, and one of the accounts that I read of people there was that upon leaving the island, the last boat that went out, one of the children can remember hearing the sounds of cats filling those empty concrete spaces as the ship went away. And so my poem begins with those cats of Hashima Island abandoned on the docks. And the cats are confused, they're alone, they're frightened, they don't know what to do, but there is one cat separate from all those other cats, bigger and stronger than all the rest. One cat who has hated humans, and his name is Fogroll. Fogroll was one of those cats who had been trying to drown in the docks, but Fogroll pulled himself out of the cats. And this is why I've tried to set up the website so that I could share. There's actually you can actually do a Google Street View of Hashima Island, which is fascinating. But yeah, the photographs are stunning. The Google Street View is fascinating. That's why I kind of had to write about it. And so Fogroll, who hates humans, is on that island as well. And Fogroll has used this opportunity, this confusion, to try and bring about order to this. Order has quickly fallen apart on the island. The cats, left alone, has started to fight with each other. They have started to attack each other, to fight over the food that's left there. And something has happened as that fighting has taken place. Something very unique. As these cats have fought, as they have scratched each other with their claws, as they have bitten each other with their teeth, those claws have become fingers. Those legs have turned into arms. Those fur-lined ears have receded into fleshy ears. The cats have started to become human, though they still behave like cats. Tonight, ladies and gents, as chaos descends upon the island and as these cats start to take on the forms of human bodies, I'd like to introduce you to Fogroll's own group of cats, his own little gang, his Clowder. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming tonight. This is part 3 of Fogroll's Island. We are Fogroll's Clowder, his army, his cats. You will see us on the edge of him, well-fed, strong, muscled, tails erect. You will see us. You will stay away. Keep heads down. Shut up. Look the other way. Do what we say and we won't beat you. We won't scratch you. We won't bite you. Respect us and we shall not have to run our claws over your back slowly. Listen and we shall not slice at skin and bite at fur. Follow. We shall not push you out or down to the sea. Fogroll commands us. We do as he says. If we say move, move. Because Fogroll says move. He found us. Most of us were born on the street, strays. Cats the so-called gods didn't want to see, but Fogroll could see. Taught us not to respect the gods, taught us to hiss, taught us to scratch, to bite, to gouge the eyes of drunken men who'd passed out in the streets. Gave us a purpose, organised us, made us strong. The gods left those other cats. They were weak and now they panic. Now they are confused. Now they are unsure of what to do. We watch them fight in the streets. We want to watch and leave alone. But not Fogroll. Fogroll is king. Fogroll wants to help. Fogroll says it is not their fault they have been left. And we listen to him. We know he is right. For now. Fogroll tells us to save the weak cats, tells us round them, stop them, tells us bring them to the gym, where it smells of feet and sweat. Tells us to bring order and we obey. 2 cats fighting in the middle of the street, we tell them to stop. They don't. We hit them. We punch them. They fight, we smash, bones crunch, red stains, they stop. Pale, naked, fleshy. We drag them through the street, we make people stop and think. Tough cats stare at us from the end of the gym. They are muscles and scars and have nothing to hide because they are stronger. They do not need to feel afraid. But we are the cats of Hashima Island, and our dried blood stains their knuckles. Sticks they carried, that caused the crunches when they hurted us inside. Those sticks caused knees and shoulders to shatter When we fell, there was no one to carry us. We were afraid and weak and ran. Some of us chose not to come. Some of us chose to ignore the shouts, to hide, to slink. We've been abandoned by those cats now. Their voice, their memories, their smells, we let slip from our minds. We know we are Fogroll's cats now. And inside the gym we shiver and sweat, pressed tight to move our clammy pinkish skin sticks. This is wrong. We are things of fur and claws, of tails and whiskers. But now we stand, and we panic, but cannot move. Pressed in, we panic or confused. And tough cats stand at the gymnasium's edge. So we try to stay calm and fail because we are cats, but not cats. We remember being cats, but those memories fade. We panic, we shrink inside ourselves and focus on the memories of 2 days ago. Focus on rubbing against the legs of the gods. Think about whiskers. We think when the world was bigger. Think about seeing at steeper angles. We think about smells and sounds, the warmth of fear. We are cold, but we pull back in the past. We are cats and do not want naked flesh. We are cats and we miss our gods. We are cats. We do not want to let go. We are back inside the gym. The tough cats stare at us. Outside, a scream. We do not know who screamed. It is another one who left us. The fear now. We shiver, and tough cats at the end of the gym shuffle, fingers tapping against sticks. They talk, and the knuckles are knotted, and the sticks turn white. They know what is happening. They feel it. They have no fear because they are fear. We hear other screams and we hold our breath. We fall, we cough. Old air bursts from our lungs and we suck new air in. We break down in staggered gasps that sound like rain on windows. We are gasping when Fogroll enters the gym. He faces us, scarred body and silent with sweeping eyes, flicks his fingers, tough cat straighten, look in the distance behind us. He clears his throat. He speaks. Cats of Hashima Island. Your old gods have left, discarded you, tired of killing you one by one, of beating you, of tying you in sacks or drowning you, have finally decided to abandon you. And look at you. They would have succeeded if not for me. My cats have brought you, my clouder have saved you. Who here can deny this, he says, and we say nothing. We cannot disagree. We are lost, abandoned by the gods. You have been abandoned, mistreated. You whose only crime was to believe. This is no crime. Believing was no crime. Loyalty is no crime. You, cats of Hashima Island, are the greatest things. The gods betrayed you, should have responded to you. Instead they left you. Who here can disagree? We cannot disagree. We have loved, been loyal. We've been abandoned, betrayed. Do not be embarrassed. This is not your fault. The fighting is not your fault. Your blood is not your fault. Do not feel powerless. You were confused, lost. You lacked a leader, a god. You lost structure and routine. This is not your fault. It was their fault. Jealous, hateful things. They took it from you. And now they have fled. How can you be saved? We think with one mind. We think one thought, one idea. We have one answer and hope. Be our leader. Be our protector. Fogroll, you who are toughest cat, proudest cat, meanest cat, be our leader. Be our king, thug king, savers, protectors. Be our God, Fogroll. Be our God. Be our God. We give ourselves to you. And there, I'll end tonight's reading there. As Fogroll begins in his own misguided ways to try and save the cats who are left on Hashima Island and give them something to stand up for, to develop them, to save them, to make them stand up against all of this that has fallen down. Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, Black Rabbit. Thank you, Susan and Marcella. Thank you, Taz and Jenny. Yes, Monday, Tuesdays, they are morphing now. Thank you, keep those scissors away. Yes, they are beginning to morph into humans. I wanted to explore cats, and cats are wonderful, and it's a wonderful point to begin the story with. But I think, as you'll see as we move forward, cats also are slightly limited, and I wanted them to evolve, wanted them to be able to do things that were slightly more complex. And I hope you did enjoy that for the 200th episode. Thank you, Susan. That's a wonderful compliment to pay. And thank you, Queen, for coming to listen. Thank you, Danny. I have actually thought about going busking with poetry. Perhaps one day, maybe next year, when it's a bit warmer. Well, pardon me. Well, I'm glad you like the cats, and thank you, Jen. And I hope, please do call a cat Fogroll. Fogroll is a bit of a mean cat. He is a thug cat, but hopefully you'll see as the poem progresses, he's not just a thug mean cat. Actually, I have a deep love for Fogroll. He's a bit of a tyrant, as you'll see, but he's a wonderfully flawed tyrant, and I feel quite sad for him. I love Fogroll. I get very attached to Fogroll in this poem. So thank you for all you wonderful cat rescuers. Unfortunately, where I'm living at the moment, I'm renting, so I can't keep cats here. But I would one day like to go. I've kind of, in my mind, I know what kind of cat Fogroll is. He's big, he's grey-haired, he's got a puggy face, and he's quite ugly, and he's resentful of everything and just wants to eat tuna all day and glower at people and hunt mice and voles. That's the kind of cat I want. Yeah, and I'm sure some cats were taken off the island, but apparently some did remain. So, oh, Jackson, I've seen you're nothing like Fogroll. You're far too nice. Paul, very big welcome to you. Don't apologise. It's nice of you to come for the 200th episode. And I should have mentioned the 200th episode in the title. Well, that's a wonderful thing to do, Susan. There's nothing nicer than looking after those cats. Well, I like Tuna as well, but you don't strike me as the scowling type, Jackson. Although I haven't seen you try to mark exam papers and essays, and my friends who are teachers do seem to scowl when it comes to that time of the year. But hello, I'm glad you enjoyed it. So I will. What I wanted to do, what I have set the website up to do, once Boohost have finished messing around with their servers, is to actually use the website to be able to share some of these images and fun facts around Hashima Island, and to also be able to do other things like actually put up the text for these things, because I know Rosella, and thank you for coming, Rosella, I know Rosella speaks English as a second language and sometimes has a bit of difficulty when I'm going through especially the faster bits of text. What I'm doing is I'm putting up the full text for Fogroll's Island. So if any of you want to come back to it and reread it, or read it at a slower pace, or read it because you're listening to it in translation to begin with, it will be there. So the Boohost site, I mean, it's kind of there, you know, it's almost there. It's just not working as it should at the moment, which is a shame. I mean, but we'll get there. And I'm sure Boohost will sort everything and you guys can come there. But thank you so much anyway for coming tonight. So big thanks to Susan and Kathy. Thanks to Black Rabbit and Queen. Thanks to Jenny and Susie and Sarah, Roger, Jackie, Taz, Danny, Lars, Frank, Vader and Paul popping in there at the end. Thank you so much, Lars. I hope you enjoyed your dose of Simon's poetry for the evening. My book is on it. I've got on the website, the first 3 sections of the book are on there for seller. So everything that I read on here, whether it's my work, whether it's Les Morts d'Arthur, whether it's the poetry stuff, it's all going to be, it's already there on the website. I just need Bluehost to fix their servers. It seems they've been attacked or something by the sounds of it. So they're down. Usually they're very, very reliable. I've used them for different things for years. But all that stuff will go up on there. And you will be able to catch up on all of it. Everything I do. And hopefully I'll also be able to put up some useful insights and pictures of Hashima Island and some of the background for all this as well. Frank is a born troublemaker, Queen. Well, I'm. Did you win the bunny fight, Rabbit? Please do. Don't worry. I will send out the link to it all. It's SimonTellsTales.com. It should have a construction notice. I've taken the construction notice off. I need to go switch my construction notice back on, as it should be on the construction thing. Well, thank you, Paul. That's a very kind offer. We are not cutting my hair at 1,000,000 hearts, Frank. My hair will not, although it does need a bit of a trim. I might go for a trim at 1,000,000 hearts. Possibly before then. We'll see how long it takes us to get there. But you're very, very welcome, guys. Thank you so much. It needs a bit of a trim, Queen. I mean, Queen, not heavy, but when it starts to become an obstacle for driving, then I go and give it a tiny trim. Simon's hair it's got a bit of a life of its own. Yes, they do have long hair historically, and in Paul's case, with Walt Whitman, they've had long hair and a beard. And that's the best way, Roger, that's the best way. But I do a lot of driving. And it might help me from getting stuck. Not 10 centimetres of cutting, Frank. Not 10 centimetres of cutting. That's just scandalous to think that so much hair could be cut. I don't think I'd ever agree to that. Not a man bun either. I just like the big hair. I like it like this. This is good. This is fun for me. And it does actually, it's pretty good for keeping me warm. It could be a little bit better. The wind still gets under and gets the tips of my ears. But other than that, it's all good. It's all good. And yes, we'll just see where it goes, Marcella. I think we'll see where it goes. Probably about this length is good. Much longer than this, I think we'll be in trouble. But for the moment, this is quite comfortable for me. No, Lars. Actually, when I lived in Grimsby, growing up, I was a skinhead. I had my hair was about 3 millimeters long. It was incredibly short. But yeah, I had a skinhead cut when I grew up in Grimsby. 3 millimeters long. That was it. The best way, Paul, is for me to stop dodging everyone and to be more tuned on. How's the weekend, Paul? Because the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, I think a Skype. If we Skype Saturday or Sunday, that's definitely best, I think. Yes. Skype Saturday or Sunday. That's when I've got time. The week is proving to be quite hectic for me at the moment. Excellent. Well, I'm glad you can watch live. You'll enjoy it live, Darby. It will be good fun. It'll be great to have you back on for the live show. I like it at this. That's it. That is for discussion Monday, Tuesdays. But yes, Paul, how shall we Skype Saturday or Sunday? That sounds smart. Don't be jealous of the hair, Roger. Just enjoy the hair. Maybe at some point I can start making some wigs, and we can maybe I can shave it off, start donating hair to folk. That could work. Well, thank you, Lars. Thank you for being willing to listen to the cats and enjoying the cats. That means a lot. But yes, Paul, we will Skype because we need to blab. So let's do it. I think I don't think you need a toupee, Roger. I think you're balancing it out quite well. Oh God, could you imagine a toupee from me plus your beard, Roger? You would look like the quintessential crazy hermit. I think keep the bald, keep the beard. The beard is good. The beard gives you some serious balance. That of it. Skype to blab. Yes, Skype to blab. It almost sounds like some big campaign that folk are doing. Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Oh, that was it. Susan, you've reminded me. Good, you've reminded me. I'd almost forgotten with all the poetry that we're doing. I am aware that a lot of you guys on here actually go and write your own poetry. And I'm also aware that at the moment, the only poets that we're reading, most of them tend to be dead, which is a good way of segmenting stuff. Most of the poets tend to be dead, or else it's from folk who've actually had poetry collections published. And I was thinking it would be a fun thing to do with Poetry Live, to actually start reading some poems by folk who haven't had collections published yet. So once a month, we won't do it every week, but I think once a month I would like to start reading poetry by folk who haven't had collections published yet. To try and give a bit more exposure to folk, to try and get other people's poems out there. I think that would be good. Well, I usually class myself as more of a prose writer than a poet anyway, which is why I can sort of get on with epic poetry. But yes, if anybody knows of any poets who haven't had collections published yet, who it would be good to read on the show, or if they have their own poets who it would be great, and if your own poems you'd like to have read on the show once a month, I would like to start reading some other poems on here. So something to think about. Stick in your percolators. Or collective poems, Susan. That could be fun, but something from my experiences in the past doing collaborative stuff, it very quickly falls apart. But it's a fun thing to do. It's a fun thing to do if it never goes further than the campfire, I think. But yes, that's something to bear in mind. I would like to. Frank, if you had poetry about your scissor collection, if that's serious, I would love to do poetry about your scissor collection, Frank. That would be awesome. I know Sarah's a poet. I know I'm thinking of people like Sarah and Susan and Paul when I say this. It's all up for grabs, but I'd like to do something a little bit more. I think we do a lot on this show in demystifying poetry for people and introducing people to poems, and I haven't seen that. I will have to watch it. Queen. Lars as well, obviously, can't forget Lars. But yeah, I'd like to do more to introduce some different poems. Well, there's nothing wrong with sad, short and dark, Susan. We've read some very sad, some very short and some very dark poems on here, myself notwithstanding. So I'd like to open it up a little bit. I'd like to give some folk a new platform. I'd like to do more to introduce different poems to people and to introduce some modern poets who are working on stuff. I don't know that from Frank. I don't know it, I'm afraid. You'll have to share. He says, where's mine? There's a poem somewhere. Mine. There. Like David Harsent. David Harsent was one, a modern poet who writes in quite a traditional epic poet style. No, Monday, Tuesdays, I haven't done that. But guess what is on the new website for when it's ready to launch? Guess what I have a blog all about? You'll never guess, because I was thinking of it the other day and I made sure it was on there because I realised I've been a really naughty boy and not done it. When the website launches and you guys can come in and I can tweet links to the website, you will find that I have done a blog post on my favourite epic poems. It's there. The day of my birth? Do you mean going back in time? We're not going to launch it on the day of my birth. Hopefully, if we can launch it tomorrow, that would be fab. But we'll see what Bluehost have to say for themselves. They're not on my favourite list of folk right now. I know the Scissor Sisters. I'm a dabbling Time Lord. It helps when the time zones are all knocked out. Then it's easier. Here we go. Apparently my website DNS is cached with my ISP, which is causing the disruption. Right. So, there we go. Yes, the Fairy Queen is up there. It's totally up there. It's Gawain and the Green Knight. Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. The Kalevala. It's all there up for discussion. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble a little bit, ladies and gents, and as I can't unveil a new website for you at this time, I'm going to pop off and let these good folk let Paul or Jackson go and take over with their poetry shows instead, and I instead will go to trying to come to grips with what's going on with Bluehost. And I'll see you all tomorrow tomorrow, of course, I'm reading from my novel. Tomorrow, my novel Till Bashing, I'll be reading from instead of Poetry Live. No poetry tomorrow. It will be my novel Till Bashing plus Tristram running around naked in a forest with a sword with woodcut nudity. Oh yes! There will be naked woodcuts, Tristram naked with a sword in a forest, and me talking about retail as I share my novel. What's not to love? Don't miss it. Yes, for Queen's whole family at dinner. If you want those kind of woodcuts for dinner, Queen, that's what we have coming up. So thank you so much. It was great to see you all tonight. Thank you for coming in, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful morning, night, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. And I'll leave you to try and figure out where Tristram keeps his sword when it's not in his hand. Have a wonderful time, guys. Thank you so much, and good night. Bye-bye.